Hi and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jonathan Matias. I am a stylist here at Salon 718 in Brooklyn. I'm one of the lead stylists. I have been doing hair for about 6 years. Don't really have a specialty, but as you can tell, I like curly hair, and we're going to be working with a curly model today. I tend to style curly hair with two components. There's hydrate and there's hold. We're going to be using our Keratin Thermique for our hydrate portion of it, and then our mousse bouffant will be the hold portion of it. And now we're going to get ready to style. What you're going to need are 4 sectioning clips, your Keratin Thermique, and your mousse bouffant. When we are sectioning, we're doing it in quadrants. So we are going to do a profile parting, followed by a radial parting. This is going to keep our sections nice and clean. You want to make sure that you still have moisture in this section. So if you need to re-wet that one section when you're applying your product, you're going to do so with each quadrant. The key to curly hair is making sure that you style it when it's ready to be styled, meaning it's wet and ready to absorb the product, and handling it with kid gloves. You can't wrestle too much with curly hair because that causes a lot of friction, and that's going to result in frizz. I use my hands when it comes to styling curly hair. We're not going to use a brush to get our styling product in. We are just going to use our hands, making sure that everything is beautifully saturated. Remember, we're working with two components, hydration and hold. So right now, she's hydrated. Let's get some hold in there. Let's see if we can just, so you guys can get a visual. That's how much mousse bouffant I'm using with each subsection. Now we're getting some nice hold. And then let the curls separate themselves. Twist them around your finger to give them some encouragement, especially somebody like Sarah, who has been processed chemically. She's highlighted, so she's going to need extra hydration, and she's going to need a little bit more hold because her curls have stretched out a little bit. I love highlighted curls because it shows a ton of definition. I love even more when curls are hydrated and styled properly. This technique I use on about 90 to 95% of my curly haired guests. It's more of a wet plopping, and I'm making sure that I have their hydration and I have their hold. As far as hydration, you have a couple of different options. You can always go in with the creme magistral if you need something that's a little bit thicker, a little bit more intense in that moisture aspect. Where if you need somebody who doesn't really want to diffuse their hair and they're not going to really take any heat, you can go in and use the Nectar Thermique as their leave-in daily conditioner, and just run about a quarter size amount through when their hair is really, really wet, and that'll help to just keep their hair moisturized and hydrated and not feel so out of control. With curly hair, it's really about the control. We know that we're going to get volume in our hair the second the wind blows. We want it to be a controlled volume, so that's why we're going in with the products that we chose today. I happen to love, love, love when their curls clump together because I know that it's going to give me a ton of definition and it's going to give me a ton of control. Once her curls are dry, we can go in and kind of shake them out, and now she'll have a bunch of well-defined curls. Versus if she has them a little bit more separated now, she's going to get a lot of volume and feel a little bit of an unmanageability. So these are what your gorgeous curls are supposed to look like. And we're just finishing up with this last section. It did take me about 10 minutes to get through the other 3 quadrants, so I'm going to go back in and just make sure that her hair is wet again. Ready to absorb any kind of product that we need to. And maybe we can get a little bit more of a visual now that we are here, and you can see how the curls want to separate themselves. Our dime-size amount of our Keratin Thermique, saturating this section, making sure that you're going from roots to ends, using my fingers to detangle. I'm not going to use any combs or brushes after I have detangled her treatment and rinsed it out. From here on out, I'm going to be using my hands as my tool. You're using your mousse bouffante, again, working it all the way from roots down to her ends. And this section looks like it's splitting in 3. There's 1, there's 2, and here's 3. And I'm just going to twirl them together for a nice chunky curl. And you keep twirling all the way to the ends and keep it going so that you get a nice soft curl. Uniformed all the way through. And remember that when she's going to need a little bit of extra help in the curly scrunching department, you are going to use your microfiber towel. Personally, I use a cotton t-shirt, and you're going to take that section and scrunch from the bottom up. And squeeze, 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 squeeze. You want to get all of that water out of her hair so that you don't have weight dragging it down, and really forcing that curl to hold into the hair. And if you find yourself curling the hair and it just wants to fall wonky, try curling it the other way and see if maybe you just went against the curl pattern and now it's working with the curl pattern. So Sarah's all finished. We've done all of the quadrants. We've used our Keratin Thermique in 1-inch subsections, about 1 inch in diameter, working our Keratin Thermique from roots to ends, and then following it up with our mousse bouffante. We're hydrating and holding. Now you can see what her curls look like. They're still a little bit damp, so we're going to go in and diffuse her. You want to have it on low pressure and high heat. You're going to work that over her head, pushing the cuticle down rather than fluffing it up. We're going to get that volume, just wait for it. Again, you want to make sure that you're handling curls with kid gloves. You do not want to be roughing with it and scrunching it because you're going to cause a ton of frizz. Sarah is 100% dry, so I'm going to go in with 2 pumps of the elixir oil. I'm just going to sandwich her hair in between my hands. I'm not raking through her curls. You never want to rake through curly hair. You just want to glide over the top and the underneath. When you go in to shake your curls out, you're going to go into her head, shake it up at the root, just kind of massage very gently, and pull out from where you went into. Don't rake through her curls because you're going to end up raking a ton of frizz into her hair. Take a look.